Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. I love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
Well, all right, folks. Welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley, and this week we reflect on possibly the saddest and most frustrating weekend of motorsports we'll hopefully ever have to cover on this show. So, folks, how we doing?
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. I'm doing good, Brian. Very tough weekend for obvious reasons that we'll get into right off the bat, I guess, here. But, just glad to be doing this show and glad to have friends like you guys in times like these. How about you, True Love? How you doing?
I don't have anything poignant to say because I'm very distracted by this wrestling that I put on in the background.
More so than Bear Grylls,
That was such a mistake. I had to turn it immediately. It was some dude in like a top hat with flames, and it was too much.
What channel is it on?
It was on the CW.
Oh, you're watching
I don't get the
NXT.
CW. So.
I don't even watch that shit.
It's gone now. I just turned the TV off instead.
Yeah.
I sit in silence and reflect on my sadness.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to start with the topic of the weekend. On Thursday morning, we were informed that Kyle Busch would be out of the car all weekend with a serious illness. And nobody expected that to turn into the announcement that he had passed later that afternoon. Kyle Busch is 41 years old. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greatest stock car drivers of all time. Mm-hmm. And, I want to have this conversation, and I've thought a lot about it the last few days as to how we'd handle it on the show here. And I kind of want to talk more about the reaction from the racing world in general and how we process that as individuals. A couple things we don't really need to talk much about, and I'm not trying to be insensitive about this, but I just think other people have covered it better than we can. First off, obviously Kyle's going to go down, and like I said, is one of the greatest stock car drivers of all time. We don't need to talk about his stats and his, what all he did in the car. I mean, two-time Cup champion, 234 wins across all three series. No one's ever going to break that record. And I also don't really want to necessarily dive too deep into his passing in general. He had severe pneumonia that turned septic and overtook his body pretty quick. And it's one of those things that, it's sad, it's confusing, it's tragic, and it's also absolute. I think all I can really say about the circumstances is, pay attention to your body. We've all had illnesses that we've tried to shrug off and push off and ignore. And, this seems like one of those things. We all knew that he was sick in the car at Watkins Glen. And even winning at Dover the next week, he was still sick and still doing everything that he needed to do as a driver and a father and a sponsored racer at the top level. And, these types of things, can come over you unexpectedly. And, just take care of your body. Obviously it's somewhat of a masculine thing to ignore these things and try to push on, but we've all three of us have, we've all been sick and tried to ignore it and push through things, and sometimes you just have to listen to your body. But
as I pour myself a shot of Crown Royal here, Crown Royal chocolate.
But yeah, like I said, I really want to talk about Kyle Busch, the human being, like the person, because to me, through all the coverage of his passing, the stories about who he was off the track and how he treated fans and how he worked with his fellow competitors and the drivers that he was looking out for, and putting in his trucks, and all that stuff to me was really the most poignant and emotional things to hear. None of us can claim to be huge Kyle Busch fans. I think we all respected him as a driver, and I'll be the first to admit that the last few years I've definitely become a bit more of a fan than I was 10, 15 years ago. But it's just one of those things where we've been lucky enough in the NASCAR world to not really suffer any tragedies like this. I mean, yeah, obviously Greg Biffle, and there's been a handful of other people that have passed over the last few years, but no one on this level since Dale Earnhardt. And obviously there's going to be plenty of comparisons to this passing and the passing of Dale Earnhardt. And, Dale was larger than life and larger than NASCAR. And that was one thing. Kyle, it didn't necessarily have the same status outside of the NASCAR world that Dale had, but as far as his status inside the NASCAR world, I would say I'd put him right up there close. I mean, he is.
I don't know. That's a tough.
I would say of this generation, let's say. There's so many people. Obviously, you can look at his success in the car, and. Again, 234 wins across all three series. No one else is ever going to touch that. Granted, there are rule reasons as to why that'll never happen, but
it's Kyle's fault that record will never be touched.
Kyle broke so many records, and that is the top of his rule breaking was those wins, and obviously he loses. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, we also learned from Steve O'Donnell's press conference on, I believe it was Saturday, that Kyle had just texted him a few days beforehand asking him to make a new rule for him that drivers 40 years and older could compete full-time in the Truck Series.
And they were considering it.
Yeah.
I think that's also where I want to say the comparisons to Dale were, because Kyle, obviously aside from what he did in the car and his successes, he had the ear of the top brass. And, I think one of the many things that we're going to lose with Kyle's passing is having that inside voice to the main office. That so few drivers really truly have. Kyle, granted he wasn't done in the Cup Series. We all wanted to see him get back at least close to where he was, prior to the last few seasons. But there's so much more that he was going to do in the motorsports world, obviously with his son Brexton, but just, whether it be announcing or possibly owning another team. Brad Keselowski and his various things he said to the media since Kyle's passing talked about how he was looking forward to racing Kyle in the Truck Series, and both of them going for the Triple Crown. And, now he's the only one left to do that, because, Austin Dillon's never going to win a Cup Series championship, but it's much more...
Definitely not anymore.
It's much more reasonable for Brad Keselowski to get a truck title once his Cup Series days are done, and it would have been amazing to see those two battle each other in the Truck Series once their Cup days were done. But yeah, Kyle had so much more to give to the motorsports world, outside of NASCAR, and there's really so much that we're losing with him not being around anymore. And
I will say that even though Kyle's not here physically anymore, which obviously is gut-wrenching for 1,000 reasons, but his legacy is going to live on through his son, Brexton, who, of course, he had been guiding into a career in racing. The end goal was that him and Rex were going to race each other in trucks at some point, and it seemed like a pretty serious possibility in a few years that was going to come to fruition. But even though Kyle isn't with us anymore, his legacy is absolutely going to live on through his son. The next, presumably the next, few decades. Honestly,
hopefully, but at the same time, I wouldn't be heartbroken if Brexton decided racing wasn't his path, because this is unlike when Dale Sr. passed. Junior was already there; he was already in the Cup Series. This is such a different situation, and I obviously feel for the family, and I hope that there isn't even a fraction of the same pressure that Junior felt with Brexton, because it's really not fair to him. He's still a literal child.
Yeah. With that said, I gotta say, not to get too ahead of ourselves here, but I was so proud of him for standing up there with his mom on in front of God and the entire world on national fucking television, and being a source of strength for his family and the folks around him. To be he's a boy, and that's not something that anyone should ever have to go through. And there he is, and I'm sure he's in shock. I don't know. I don't mean to paint my own emotions on there. I'm just saying this because I was blubbering in the kitchen watching this myself. I'm a grown-ass man who never met Kyle Busch. I didn't know him. He's definitely, I have friends that have worked with him and that sort of thing, but, Kyle didn't know me from Adam. But I was falling apart. And to watch him be that strong up there, that was something special. So you're definitely right, Brian. I hope he makes whatever decision is best for him. But if you know anything about his dad, he's turned that kid into a racer, and racers are fucking stubborn. And I bet you if he does continue the family tradition, we'll all be better for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
feel like...
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say he's got plenty of, aside from his literal uncles, he's got plenty of other racing uncles to guide him if he decides to do that. But after your true love.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna just kind of touch on. Like, I mean, even at 11, he's already so deeply ingrained into racing. Like, that's all that he knows. It's all he's known since birth. They had him in a race car as soon as he was, capable in with a little battery-powered Hot Wheels deals in the driveway, and Kyle's putting in higher powered batteries until eventually it caught on fire. So, I mean, all that kid knows is racing. So, and all Samantha knows is racing since her and Kyle have been together. Like, every day of their week revolves around racing. So I feel like ultimately that he's going to continue that.
I mean,
we'll see.
Even the day of Kyle's passing, they were supposed to be at Hickory.
Apparently he still raced.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't understand how that happened. I mean, granted, they were there, but it's like, it's not like they could hide that from him, or, I can't imagine how he did it, but he did race that night.
Well, I can't think of a more fitting tribute. But yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about what to say on here, and I got nothing, to be honest with you. I was obviously not a Kyle Busch fan. I was a hater up until the end. I don't have words for this, and I don't think I will for a while. This is an irreparable hole in the fabric of the sport, and to see the outpouring from all disciplines, running a missing man formation at Knoxville and for the World of Outlaws, and the Outlaws taking time out to run features on Kyle and talk about his impact and all the. I could not turn my TV, and there's a lot of racing on this weekend. It's a big weekend, and you couldn't flip on a streaming service or a station that was showing racing and not hear another perspective about what Kyle did for somebody or what he did in that world, or the stories I know of him. Sponsoring Rico Abreu with Rowdy Energy. You guys remember that shit? I forgot he had an energy drink until I was in my closet and saw my Rico Chili Bowl t-shirt with that all over it.
I saw someone post a picture. They had a can in their fridge that they were saving to drink when he finally won again. They're like, well, I guess it'll just stay in the fridge, which is probably for the best with how that ended. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, aside from how we all feel about all this, I mean, just again, all the stories that came out again from fans and from the drivers that he worked with. You can look at the Cup field now, and they took a photo. Like 8 or 9 guys in the Cup Series now all drove for Kyle at one point in the Truck Series.
Yeah.
And obviously we're going to talk about some of that stuff as we get into the weekend, but
well, that was the thing I respected the most about Kyle Busch. Again, even though I was a hater, I've cursed and motherfucked that guy for almost 2 decades. But the fact that he put his money where his mouth is and did not forget where he came from and sought to raise the profile of all of these places he came from and help build something for the future, I think that's just about the best thing you can do for a community like this one. And I got nothing but respect for Kyle. And I liked him outside of NASCAR, but once you put him in that car, I'd cuss him tomorrow if he came back. But who am I gonna boo now? You know what I mean? Like it's just I can't wrap my head around it, and I don't think any of us are really gonna be able to for quite some time. It's just not gonna be the same without him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. When the news first got announced, like I just kind of went into like a state of shock. Like it couldn't be real. There's no way that's a real headline, because I can't fathom, the rest of my years of fandom in NASCAR without a Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
And like I lived next door to my parents, and my dad was out in his shop working, so I went out and told him the news, and we just both like stood in silence for like an hour in the driveway, just in disbelief that was the news. And like, I don't think the tears, I cried a lot this weekend. Like a lot of things triggered me to cry. A lot of tears over Brexton and what his future looks like, and a lot of anger for Kyle not being able to, see the rest of Brexton's career. Like I know when they had press on Friday or Saturday, Chase Elliott showed up in a Brexton shirt, and I saw him get emotional when he talked about, I can't believe that Kyle won't get the same opportunities that my dad got to see in my career with Brexton. And again, he spoke on, Brexton having all these uncles going forward, but, and also just angry that Kyle, he talked about it ever since Brexton was born, that his dream was to compete against his son in the Truck Series one day, and not having that taken away from him. And, he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he goes in, and him not being able to experience that. So I had a lot of feelings of anger at first before the tears came, but
yeah,
I always felt like believe me, I hated Kyle with a passion in his early days. It wasn't until 2015 where there was a switch for me, but I always felt a kindredship with him because we're both 1985 babies. So I kind of felt like I grew up alongside him the same age through his NASCAR career. But yeah, in 2015, I mean, we all hate on the playoffs,
Yeah.
But that championship in 2015 was a turning point for me.
Yeah, same.
The way he won it.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's when Brexton was born too. You could tell a shift in his attitude when he came back from his leg sealing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you can shit on the format all you want, but he had to do he had to win X amount of races to even make the playoffs, and he fucking did it.
Yeah.
You know, like, think about what would have happened had he not been hurt that year. But he came back and he fucking did it. And that's one of those things that, again, format be damned, you have to respect that.
It's pure fucking grit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, a racer, just the definition, textbook definition of what that word means and embodies. That was Kyle.
Yeah.
And once again, I dyed in the wool hater till the end. My favorite Kyle Busch moment at the racetrack was when NASCAR neglected to throw the yellow when it was raining at Loudon, and he backed it into the turn one fence right in front of me, and then he went out and tried to wreck the pace car. I was like, this is electric. But who's gonna do that now? Fuck.
I think back to all the races I've been to and all the races he won. The only one I was there for was when me and True Love saw him win on that fluke at Bristol Dirt. That's the only time I got to see him win.
Yeah.
That was his last win at JGR too.
Yep.
And the irony of that is that me and Brian were standing in
the pits. Yeah.
the
Feet from where
pits
the
with
wreck
Reddick's RCR 8 team, waiting for him to get his first win with that car, and then Kyle would be in it the next year. But I know that the first time me and my family ever got to go to Bristol night race was 2009 for my dad's 50th birthday, and of course Kyle won, and we were so pissed off. But yeah, to see that dirt race, and then I got to see him break Hornaday's truck record at Atlanta in 2019, and then I was there for his second to last Cup win at Talladega a few years ago. So probably not thrilled at the time, but looking back, I'm thankful that I was there for those races.
Yeah, greatness happens whether you like it or not. So you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but this hit me way harder than it did Dale's death, because when Dale died, I had maybe been a NASCAR fan 12 years, and most of those years were as a young child. But like Brian said, Kyle's been a part of our lives for 22 years now, for typically 3 days a week. So
yeah, he's ours.
Yeah. I mean, it Dale's death was its own thing. This, again, where we're at in life, and again, he was younger than all of us, right? At least younger than me and Rob, the same age as Ashley. So, there's just so many emotions that go through your mind when thinking about that. So it's been really tougher than I was expecting. I mean, not that I ever expected something like this, but I mean, I've definitely had a lot more difficulty processing this than I have. And thankfully, again, we haven't really had to process anything like this in a while. No offense to Greg Biffle, but that was a different situation, I feel like. There's been a lot of deaths the last year or two in the NASCAR community, but not like this, not so sudden and so unexpectedly. And, it's just crazy. And, thankfully the races we're going to talk about, helped for a little bit to at least numb those feelings, but still, anytime he was mentioned during any broadcast,
fucking Kyle pissed on all three of them from beyond.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but
I will say it was like I said, I was in shock that first day or so, but there was something very cathartic about finally getting the races on at Charlotte and kind of grieving with the NASCAR community through our televisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too. I mean, thinking about the family even showing up to the track. I mean, we all talked about it, but it was a surprise to see them there, but also I feel like it was probably the best place for them to be, because if he died on the track, I can totally understand them not being there, but racing was his community, and it only made sense to me that the family would be there with the rest of the community, because we're all grieving, everybody at the track and everybody at home. I was talking to a friend of the show, Garrett, who he's always in our weekly FanDuel pool, and he was down there, and he was like, I can't believe I'm going to the track with all this happening. I was like, honestly, dude, that's probably the best place for you, because like everybody there is going to be all feeling the same things that we all are, and
Yeah, where else but there, you know?
yeah. So, but
Well,
yeah,
I will. I'll raise my glass to Rowdy here. I want to give you one more fuck Kyle Busch, but it just seems inappropriate because I can't say it anymore. But I got to retire it.
I
But
will
Yeah,
say
that's-
that the Kyle Busch is a douchebag guy even put out a public statement saying that he will
yeah,
change his
even
slogan going forward.
even he was shattered, you know. And I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Like, but again, I think I said this earlier. I don't know if we were recording or not yet, but there is something so special about the racing family. This racing thing that we're all a part of is really. I can't describe the feeling I get from the people around me in these situations, and it really is a family in a weird way. It's not like other sports. It's not like other communities, you know, and I can't explain it, you know, but this whole weekend it's just been a nonstop stream of people talking to each other and trying to
Yeah.
figure this thing out, and
yeah,
I feel so blessed to have people like that in my life, where when things like this do happen, that I'm not just sitting on my couch by myself. You know, it really
Yeah.
it means the world that we're all out there together, and I'm gonna raise my glass to that. And you know, obviously I wish Kyle was still around, but I do thank him for reminding us all that there's something that brings us together that's greater than all of us, you know, individually.
yeah. All right, well,
Now on to the Weenie 500.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot
let's-
that was first. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean that news had broken on Thursday, and literally the first action we saw of the whole weekend was on Fox, Big Fox, mind you.
Big Fox at 2 p.m. on a Friday.
The Weenie 500, which of course, if you guys don't know what that is, they race Wienermobiles at IMS. The Indy Lights don't even get to do that shit anymore.
yeah, and it basically all it is at this point is just a bunch of like dick jokes, essentially. That's
Yeah.
all
Oh my
it is.
God,
That's
yeah.
all it fucking is.
If you would think that this would be an event geared towards children racing the Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles,
Nope.
but nope. Just the horniest commentary you will ever hear in your life.
Yeah, from some of the best commentators in the game at that. We got
Keeping a
fucking
perfectly
Andy.
straight face.
We got fucking Andy Richter out there singing not the anthem, but the Oscar Mayer Wiener song.
Which was the anthem for the race.
It is the
as
anthem,
the commander in beef.
No, I believe True Love has assembled a list of her favorite moments from the broadcast.
Oh boy, it's pretty long, but there were just so many gems that it was just one after another. So I'll just go through and just rattle them off here real quick. But let's see. They showed a wind tunnel graphic, and they said when they go tip to tip.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know who said each one of these quotes because they were just firing them off so fast I couldn't keep up. But someone said, "When stuffing it in, don't be too aggressive." Also, it was raining, so they said, "These are slippery wieners. How does that make the handling of your wiener different?" These weenies get hard. Long pause to handle. Grip it with 2 hands. There was a very aggressive block made by, I think, the leader at one point, and they called him a dirty wiener.
That's a dirty wiener. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this year was the debut of Corn Dog. It's a new truck, and
Oh,
it
yes.
just has a stick stuck out the back end of it.
Yep. Did terrible. Finished dead last.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone said the longer the wiener, the better. A gentle touch with the wiener. I don't know what that was in reference to, but just the fact that was said on TV.
Yeah.
Someone said, "How much are these wieners going to twitch under a heavy load?"
This is all within
Thrusting.
7 minutes on the broadcast,
Yes,
by the way.
there's only 2 laps in this race. Someone said thrusting through turn 4. Slid his wiener exactly where he wanted it to go. Dragging your wiener around this place, it burns. Someone asked another announcer, have you ever had to grab your weenie like that to get the finish you want? And then my favorite was just someone shouting, edging, edging, edging.
Yeah.
So, those were the horniest ones that I wrote down. It's too much. It was too much all within just a few minutes.
Yeah, we were about to leave for Claremont. My cameraman Orion showed up so we drive up together, and I was like, "Hang on, I need 5 minutes. I got to finish this."
Also, there was a great tweet put out in predicting the 2027 Weenie 500 with a couple quotes. Hinchcliffe, everybody pull out their wieners right now. Diffie, this glizzy just slipped right between the puns. Then Townsend Bell, there's mustard on my penis and balls.
Speaking of, in the fan zone, you could get your name written on a hot dog weenie and ketchup or mustard. So
Yeah.
Also, New York Dog won, and the crowd hated it.
Yeah,
so.
big time boos from the crowd. But I understand that New York Dog was the one that did that awful block. Very dirty wiener on the backstretch. But yeah, this is the ultimate brand activation at a racetrack. Don't even try to beat that, because that's about as funny as it gets. It was a packed house, and boy, does that just embody the spirit of Carb Day and the sort of party side of Indianapolis. Yeah, big fan of this. I'm glad they're going to continue to do it, and I'd say it's become a staple.
It's got to be. It's got to be a staple. I was surprised that they had people on a hot track again this year, but I guess it'll take an inch.
How hot is it? You know,
they're going 40 miles an hour. It's not that.
Well, still, those aggressive, dirty wiener blocks. Another note. So right after this, they had the Indy Pit Stop Challenge, which unfortunately got rained out about halfway through. But Danica joined that broadcast, and one of the announcers asked her, "Have you ever seen any wieners at IMS?" And she just froze up. So
She's like, how do I answer this without getting canceled?
Yes. Yes, I have.
we also learned that in 2005, NASCAR raced the Wienermobiles.
They did.
And Kurt Busch won. So I have to find that or something.
And that was the only complete race of the weekend.
It really was.
Aside from the 500.
Yeah. Well, yeah, now, so, to get into the NASCAR side of things. So, yeah, the Friday truck race was rained out, which none of us were really surprised by. I mean, again, going into the weekend, even before Kyle's passing, the weather did not look very good all weekend, which, at least softened the blow a little bit not being at the track, because I know we all at one point talked about all going, and none of us made it there, but... obviously after the fact, I'm kind of glad I didn't go, because as much as it would have been fun to hang out and all that, I also hate sitting around waiting for shit like this. So to spend all the time and money to go down there and have to see what we saw would have been pretty disappointing. So, but yeah, like I said, the truck race got rained out Friday, and they had to announce, some sort of makeup date. So they announced Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning, which like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, my flea market, Memorial Day weekend is a big flea market weekend. It was getting rained out here, so I didn't have to get up for that, and I didn't even fucking wake up for the truck race because I knew it wasn't going to happen. Looking at the weather, they just had to announce something, and it got canceled, of course. But
I woke up and I was annoyed.
What's that? You actually got up?
I woke up and turned the TV on.
Why? Did you look at the weather the day before?
I did, but miracles happen all the time.
Yeah.
It was supposed to rain all day Sunday, too, so...
Well, I guess that's fair.
And Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, so...
Yeah. But yeah, so, like I said, truck race got canceled both times. Cup qualifying got canceled, but they did get some practice in. And they also... now I guess we'll talk about the Busch race, so... They did start at the scheduled time. They got about 30 laps in, and then that's when the rain came in. And, to CW's credit, they through the 4-hour delay, all they did was just run old races. They ran, the Dover race the week prior, and they also ran the 2020 Busch race that Kyle Busch won. So that was a nice touch from them.
Got 2 full races in.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of wieners, Joey Chestnut gave the command for that race.
He did.
Throw that in there.
I did see a photo of Joey Chestnut hanging out with Corey LaJoy also at some point over the
2
weekend.
wieners.
Yep, two wieners for sure.
Enthusiasts, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, they did after the 4-hour delay get the Busch race going again, and
10 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt like just anytime I turned my TV on, the Busch race could be happening.
Yeah. When we finally got racing, it was great. Like, the racing itself was excellent. But the problem was it was very foggy and misty, and visibility for the crews and spotters and even the drivers was horrible.
Yeah, it looked like the World Finals out there.
Yeah, it was wild to see, really. But then about 15-ish laps from the halfway point, Dawson Cram blew a motor, and this caused about a third of the field to end up in the fence, running through his oil. And while they were trying to clean that up, they ended up running enough caution laps to get past halfway, and then they brought the cars in. Yeah, and they brought the cars in.
They were burning yellow right there for sure.
Yep, and that was it. They called it after that, and Ross Chastain was the winner.
Hey, he finally got one.
Yes, first win with the JRM cars. So good for him there. Again, it's incredibly disappointing. Like I said, beginning of the show, this is the first of 3 frustrating NASCAR races. Probably the most frustrating. Well, I don't know. The truck race is very frustrating too. We'll get to that in a second. But
yeah, at least they raced that one out, even though it was timed. But yeah,
I feel bad for the fans that waited around at the track all day.
Yeah, for sure.
For that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even try to pretend that they were going to try to keep running it. They declared Chastain the winner within seconds of him.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was all the way out of the car yet.
No, he had no idea for a couple minutes after that wrapped up.
The crowd booed because not at him. They were just annoyed.
Yeah.
And fair enough.
Yeah.
But he did the bow in victory lane, as all 3 of the winners this weekend did, which made sense. And it's very funny. They showed him doing the bow, and then he's like, "Now I got to do my thing," and then he smashed the watermelon afterwards. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Who did he win over?
I can't
Jesse
remember.
Love.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Jesse Love, who gave the serial killer post-race interview after the fact.
Yeah, he's not doing too well right now, man. And I know that it's a particularly tough time at RCR right now, given the circumstances with Kyle's passing and all that.
And
the past 6 weeks of.
That and apparently, I don't know what the hell's. I mean, we've heard. He's going to Legacy. We've also heard Riley Herbst is going to Legacy. Rumors are that he's in the doghouse with RCR, which is why he was supposed to be in the 33 car this weekend. They pulled that.
Yep.
So I don't know what the hell's going on with that whole deal, but even as someone who's not a huge Jesse Love fan, it's probably better that he gets out of that whole situation for too long. So
before he starts killing mailmen and. Random strangers he picks up at the Walmart. But yeah, boy, he is someone ought to do a welfare check on poor Jesse, because he's had a rough little stretch here.
Again, please seek therapy, Jesse.
Yes, absolutely.
That was tough, though. I mean, Love finished second, Hill finished third, and RCR wanted that win so bad that night.
And they would have probably fucking gotten it, too, because they were pretty quick all night. But
yeah.
Oh, well.
Yep. But yeah, that leads us into Sunday, and on a positive note, it was very cool. I mean, granted, Sunday, has been the biggest day in motorsports for decades now, and F1 switched from Monaco in the morning to Montreal in the afternoon. I couldn't give a fuck about either of those races, and I wasn't going to watch either one of them, but it was very nice to have the Truck Series open up the day.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be nice to do anyway. I know why they don't do it, but I mean, it'd be great to wake up and have truck racing in the morning, and then the 600 at night, and the 500, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I got home right in time from the flea market to watch the start of the truck race, and that was great. And yeah, the weather was not an issue at all in the truck race, which is good, but timing was. Granted, theoretically, 2 hours should have been enough time to run the full race, but the race itself there was a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks. Probably the most egregious being the Chris Wright and Butterbean incident.
Ooh,
where
that was good. Also, Corey Day treating it like it's a sprint car. He forgot what he was driving and decided to get airborne on the backstretch. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that Chris Wright deal.
Yeah.
In case you haven't forgotten.
Yeah, he does not. I don't know what money he has behind or what, but he should not be in any sort of vehicle in the top 3 series.
He'd done a pretty good job of rehabilitating his image a little bit. You hadn't heard about him in a while.
A couple weeks.
The icy
handful of
opinion.
weeks.
Well, yeah, but we're right back to square one here, Chris.
Yeah. But maybe he just needs to get his hearing checked, because
He's
there seemed to be a hearing problem with this.
I thought you said clear. I'm like, I did not say that.
He said, I said there. So,
Yeah.
I guess if the radio sucks, maybe those words sound alike. But
Yeah.
I felt bad, too, because our friend Kyle Ayala was on Stenhouse's truck this past weekend, and they got some damage in that wreck. And poor Kyle, he did not have a good weekend, because they just his schedule just got dicked around so fucking much this weekend. I think he said he got 6 hours of sleep through the whole weekend.
Yeah, I believe it.
Jesus.
But I think they did salvage a top 10, so good for them.
Now he's got to go fucking hammer that truck out.
But yeah, the frustration with this race was, again, they had a 12 o'clock cutoff time because of TV shit between FS1 and Fox. I guess I don't know if there's some sort of rule or something in place to where, there needed to be no racing on TV before the start of the Indy 500 coverage. And
They also said that they needed to get out, like sweep the track, because they needed to get all those fans out, because not all of them had 600 tickets, and clean up.
Yeah, but how many hours do you need to fucking do that? I mean, there's probably, a couple thousand. I would say there's no more than 6,000 fans there for the truck race.
I think
decent
dates
crowd,
for the
but-
600 were opening at like 2 or something, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would say the more frustrating fact was, I mean, they ended under caution, and, it would have been nice to at least give them one green, white, checkered opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
But, Lane Riggs got the victory. I like Lane a lot. I was definitely pulling more for Caden because I had more money on him. But
There you go. There it is.
I had a whole 50 cents on Caden as opposed to 25 on Lane. But no, Lane he again was as distraught as the rest of us over losing Kyle Busch, and did the bow and gave a very somber post-race interview, and again, I like Lane, so I'm not upset by that.
Yeah,
seeing him win.
I like a Lane Riggs win. Yeah.
He got me good. Like hearing him cry on the radio on that cool down lap, and then do the bow and immediately start sobbing. Like, he got me.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the truck race, and now Rob gets to take the point here because Indy 500 time, and boy was this a race.
God damn, what a good one this was. Yeah, Indy continuing to just put on banger after banger, and this might be the best one of this era of IndyCar we've seen. There's no question about that. I was on my way to my mother-in-law's place to cook for everybody and watch the race there. So I missed a good portion of the pre-race. I do know that the Speedway did go all out to memorialize Kyle Busch. They had his name up on the pylon, which was really cool to see. Of course, Kyle has won at the Brickyard before in NASCAR, and he always wanted to race the 500, and I know there's been a couple of attempts, like actual attempts to get him there that didn't come to fruition, and I'm sure there might have been one in the future from what it sounds like, but unfortunately that will go unfulfilled. Also, big shout out to Dale Coyne and Chip Ganassi for changing the fonts on the 18 and 8 car respectively to match Kyle's. I thought that was a really sweet tribute.
Yeah.
And also a shout out to my buddy Frank Bolter, who's spotting for Ryan Hunter-Ray. Unfortunately, he had a short day. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But he worked with Kyle for a long time as a spotter. And thinking of you, Frank, I know that must be tough. But he called me from pit road. And I didn't pick up because I was loading groceries into a cooler. And I didn't know he had called me a couple times. He sent me this video and was like, well, I was trying to give you the fucking Michael Waltrip grid walk, but you're not picking your phone up. Whatever. And he's got the pylon in the background. And, of course, I called him back. We talked for a little bit. But maybe he'll learn to not call me before because things didn't go so well for Ryan Hunter-Ray. Race immediately electric from the start. Alexander Rossi got around Pillow in turn 1 on the top, and they kind of swapped the lead for a little bit. First trouble of the day came when, again, Ryan Hunter-Ray lost it coming out of 2. That was probably the big trouble spot for the day for just about everybody, except for Joseph Newgarden, but that's getting ahead of ourselves on that one. But Ryan just lost the rear end, and then a collected Catherine Legg, unfortunately, ending her double attempt at Indy anyway early. I think she got, 18 laps?
We should say that she pulled a reverse Natalie Decker in the sense that she, rather than running into the driver and,
crying.
really
She tried to not.
causing more damage to both of them, put the car in the wall so respect to her for that.
Not much that she could have done to get out of that situation. That was just bad timing, and I'm sure she would have ended up. She could have finished that race without any trouble like that, but unfortunately her day ended nice and early on account of Ryan Hunter-Ray.
I did see that BJ McLeod was there in a pink bedazzled Affliction shirt. So
I did not see that.
I did not see that. You're going to have to send us that because I need to see that.
I got to see that.
I only saw like a faraway shot of him getting off a helicopter. I'll have to try to find a picture.
It wasn't long till we had more trouble with Ed Carpenter getting on the wall. Takuma Sato came down on him, and Ed ended up in the fence. And he got out of his car very upset. I just don't fucking like Ed Carpenter. I don't know why. I have no real reason. But him wearing a little slim fast suit, getting out there screaming at Takuma, just really rubbed me the wrong way. And that was the first of my full-on tilts of the day. I sent out a lot of fuck Ed Carpenter texts to people, even though really, I get it. He was right to be upset about that. But the beers were flowing, so who cares at that point? Connor Daly getting the first real big pop out of the crowd. Anytime that guy takes the lead at the race at Indianapolis, he's the hometown son. More so than Ed Carpenter, thank God. And boy, they love it when that kid takes the lead. He took the lead from Alex Pillow and Kyle Collette, who, shout out to him, he ran a pretty sporty race, and he was up front all day. That's tough for a rookie to do. He definitely outshone his teammate, Santino Ferrucci, even though Ferrucci had a pretty decent day as well. Both the Foyt cars are pretty hooked up, but no match for Connor Daly at that point. I texted a friend of the program, Bobby Marcos, who, of course, runs Speed Street with Connor Daly, and I was pleading with him to help stop the count somehow so Connor could win. And get one for the home team. But alas, none of us have that power. Speaking of power, willpower blew up and dropped oil everywhere. And also summoned rain in the process, and there was a brief red flag period while we waited for that to clear out. Once they got green again, Joseph Newgarden decided to handle the dick stepping on for Penske this year by just getting a little too low in 4 on the restart, getting on the rumble strip and just yeeting himself into the wall. Do we still say that word, yeet? Because that's what this was. He tore the fuck up out of that car.
Also, shout out to Scotty Mack for surviving the pace laps this year.
He made it through.
So proud of him.
Yeah, he decided not to repeat his Roberto Guerrero impersonation and actually had a pretty decent run. Newgarden also was pretty sporty as well until he wasn't. Boy, that was he just lawn darted himself into the fence, and that was the end of that. Yeah. And this is where the strategy in the race started to split. You saw Penske kind of stick with the traditional safe strategy. They were going to do a normal amount of stops, and then guys like Pato O'Ward and Felix Rosenqvist decided they were going to try and stretch it out. And this is where the race really started to splinter off, and you saw people put their cards out on the table. Also, again, shout out to Connor Daly for putting on a show all afternoon. That guy was pulling some wicked moves at the front. In fact, on that restart, they were about 5 wide, and he took it on the top. That is not supposed to happen, and he did it, much to the glee of the assembled masses in Indianapolis and being at home. With 34 to go, again, the strategies are locked in at this point. Rosenqvist finally pits for the last time. He managed to stretch it out and keep himself in the top 5. Pato O'Ward did get around him on that cycle, but they are right in line with the Penske cars, who all needed to pit one more time. So it looked like it was going to come down to O'Ward for McLaren and Rosenqvist for Shank, which I was excited about. I'd take either one of those guys. I mean, Pato O'Ward has been the bridesmaid for about as many years as he's been running Indy. So I think he's a perennial favorite and just can never seem to get it done. Rosenqvist, sort of a unrealized talent in IndyCar. Of course, he drove for Ganassi, got a win in his tenure there, and has been in the series for a long time, but just never really rose to that Scott Dixon type level of performance, and certainly not when you look at the record book anyway. And I think everyone was excited to see him maybe have a shot at this, despite the fact that Morgan Wallen was in the car, which is not country music, but whatever. Rosenqvist eventually retakes the lead with 15 to go, and then Kyle Collett just absolutely fucking blows his car up into the wall. It was a hard hit. He looked a little shaken, and, obviously sad to do that well in your rookie year. He definitely deserves a salute from me and the assembled masses, but it was not to be his day. On the restart, I almost said Kyle Armstrong. That wasn't him. Marcus Armstrong. They are not related, but they might as well be in these occasions when you look at our group thread, because anytime Marcus Armstrong is towards the front, it's one for the family. But Armstrong took the lead on that restart, but Mick Schumacher got in the fence as they were coming to green, just in time for Armstrong to be able to maintain the lead on the final restart, which is going to be a one-lap shootout. And this is probably the most spectacular lap in the history of the Speedway. Yeah. Malukas got out front on his own ballsy move, and then Felix Rosenqvist just decided to take his balls out and his Oscar Mayer and just slap that fucker up on the dash, side by side with Pato O'Ward the entire lap, which is not something you really see at Indianapolis very often. He just stuck that thing on the outside, and it was such an incredibly timed move to where they got into 4, and Rosenqvist was able to catch the draft off Malukas and just drift in front of O'Ward. And he jukes to the outside just at the right time, picks up the win at the line, 0.02 of a second, the closest finish in Indianapolis history. I just about flipped the fucking coffee table at my mother-in-law's house, and they would have been okay with it, because what a fucking show that was.
Yeah, it was amazing.
David Malukas reading off a Jesse Love's script after that race. Poor kid was crying, and you would have thought that you shot his dog, but I get it. David came in second in this race last year as well, so him and Pato can probably go out to, I don't know, where do you go in Indianapolis to eat?
Applebee's.
Crawford Road. Yeah, Mike Harmon can take him out to lunch, but yeah, they can go commiserate over some mozzarella sticks.
Which the Indy 500 picks account, somebody tweeted that they were at the Applebee's after the race, and they said it looked like I forget what the hell the quote was, but
apocalypse like or something.
Something ridiculous.
If you have a Twitter, stop what you're doing right now and go to Indy 500 picks.
Oh yeah,
just scroll through.
perennially the best Twitter account that's related to the 500. You get to see people trying to jump across a creek and not make it. That's an annual favorite, watching drunks try and get across there, and they never do.
Yeah, ladies pissing, men puking.
You got people paying all that money to go watch Skrillex or some shit while a race is going on, which I'll never understand, but hey, whatever, it gets them in the gate. But most importantly, again, that account's amazing. But Felix Rosenqvist picking up his second career IndyCar win, and by far the biggest thing he's ever done, and getting to pour milk all over his head. And
that photo, absolutely amazing.
Spooky. It's quite spooky. And then, of course, we got to see Mike Shank, of course, the team owner. Him and Elio Castroneves own Felix Rosenqvist's car, and he definitely earned a few 10 grand fines from the FCC when they first went up to him, and that was great to watch him cuss his ass off on TV. Pretty much enjoyed that. Also, what a remarkable call from Will Buxton. I know that video has been circulating on social media of him and the guys in the booth calling that. Will uses that British ribbon mic that he holds in his hand. That's a traditional BBC style microphone that they've used for his hero Murray Walker used for all the years he covered Formula One and sports car racing and all that, and to see him do that. And Will takes a lot of shit. He's taken a little from me on this show for sure, for maybe not knowing everything. He doesn't have quite the what's the word I'm looking for here, the confidence and knowledge about IndyCar, or at least not at first, as say Lee Diffie did. Lee might not know anything, but he knows how to fake it. Will's a much more emotional guy, and from what I can tell anyway. And that call was just pure energy and enthusiasm, and it really encapsulated just how special what we witnessed was. Was that the best Indy 500 ever? I don't know about that, but goddamn, it was another banger, and I just gotta go. I can't believe I haven't gone to this fucking thing yet. But that was a great show, and especially on such a somber weekend to have that front and center. And also to see Kyle get his flowers and appreciation from that world on such a big stage. I really appreciated that as well. And again, damn shame we'll never get to see KB run the Indy 500, but his presence was definitely felt at the Speedway this year. And shout out to Felix Rosenqvist again for driving at least 6 extra beers of me that afternoon to take the edge off, because I was fucking hyped. God damn. I love Indy, man. I really do. It's the greatest race in the world, and further evidence to why I'm right about that. But that wasn't the end of the night, that's for sure. The Coke 600 was up next. They did race in Montreal as well in Formula One, but who fucking cares?
Who cares? I mean, obviously, we already kind of touched on the pre-race ceremonies and all that happened. I will say that this was Steve O'Donnell's moment, as far as, him having his Mike Helton moment, it was very comparable. I think he did a great job. And
yeah, I'm glad he's the guy who was.
Yeah, for all the shit that kind of was given to him and Phelps, last year, I do really, I'm really starting to embrace him being in this role, and I think he's good for the sport, and I think he is, at the heart of it, a race guy. Which Steve Phelps was not, and I think he's in a good spot, and he did a great job here. And again, we talk about the family being there and how emotional that was, and the bagpipes and everything. And let
me tell you something about the bagpipes. I've done a pretty good job of holding it together all weekend, but the second Amazing Grace fired up, and naturally, I'm in the kitchen, I'm fixing dinner up, and of course the whole family's in there because it's pre-race, and sadly this is one of those events that brings motorsports into a whole other realm. It's a big news story, and it's unfolding live on television in front of all of us. A literal memorial service happening before this race, and so my whole family is in there to witness me just have an absolute come apart as soon as those bagpipes fire up. Because I think the last time I heard something like that was when Dan Weldon died, and that only means one thing when you hear Amazing Grace at a racetrack, especially in that's when it became very real to me that this had actually happened. And boy, I lost it. My wife didn't know what to do with me. I'm not much of a crier, so and everyone's just kind of like, "Oh God, I think Rob is broken now," and I was absolutely.
Yeah, everything in that pre-race was so beautifully done too, and they really put some thought into it. Like even leaving an empty chair for Kyle in the drivers' meeting, that got me.
Yeah.
They did a montage, like video montage tribute in the pre-race that Dale Jr. narrated, and that absolutely broke me because you can hear Dale's voice shaking in it, and there's like an interview that he's talking about in it that Kyle gave when he was 26, talking about how he envisions retiring at 40, and that'll get the onions chopping. But yeah, you know, the whole thing with the family being there, and like, I think I was just so shocked to see them there, even though in hindsight afterwards I was like, that's, you know, the best place for them, like Brian said earlier. But there was a moment during that where Steve O'Donnell's talking, and like, it's been rainy and cloudy all weekend, and there's a moment where he turns to Brexton and he's speaking directly to Brexton, saying, look at all these people behind you and the crowd out here and everyone, this is your family forever. And the sun like came out for the first and only time that weekend, like shining directly on him. I was like, that broke me. I was like, this is all too much.
Yeah, it was heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look behind and like the whole garage is behind them, and you know,
when Larson comes out and gives him a hug, like,
yeah, Larson's kid, and like, you know, I can see Chase and Brad and like Bubba and Richard Childress behind them crying, and it's a lot to see your heroes all weeping together. But
yeah,
and then yeah, like you said, the bagpipes, and then to see those photos later of Kurt out there alone laying out those 8 single white roses, like, holy shit.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
Yeah,
but beautifully done.
And not to get one last dunk in on Fox, thank God Prime was in charge of this. This isn't even a really an indictment of Fox's coverage necessarily, but just the fact that commercials aren't being shoved in at every point before this. Can you imagine, like, that ceremony immediately be followed by a fucking Breastreet ad?
Yeah.
Or Applebee's or some shit like that.
Mikey out there doing a grid walk through this partial funeral that's happening on TV right now.
You know, I mean, Prime has the bandwidth to give a little more respect because they have a little bit more of a blank canvas to work with, and like everything they did leading it, even that intro for the race with that old audio of Ken Squire, that was fucking incredible. Like they just have the ability to do things that a network like Fox or NBC just can't. And I think it was so appropriate that they were able to handle such a heavy day and be able to do it with the respect that it commands.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Joy would have done a great job, don't get me wrong, but yeah, like all the other shit you guys mentioned, yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot more difficult.
Yeah. Also, a shout out to Will Buxton and the tribute he gave on Carb Day to Kyle over at Indianapolis. That was probably the one that got me the most because he was definitely crying as he did it live too, which that guy's the man. But
yeah. But onto the race itself, you know, I will say that, you know, for as much as the weather was a potential factor, you know, we all figured it would be. I mean, granted it was, but we got about 90% of the race in, which is more than I expected.
We got to stage 8 or 9, however many there were.
Yeah. And, you know, the racing was good, but, you know, this was a Toyota race. Up until the very end. I mean, you had Denny leading the charge, but also Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick were up there majority of the time battling for the lead, which was great to watch.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Larson had a pretty decent day, and then surprisingly, the other Chevy that was in the mix all day was fucking Shane Van Gisbergen. How that?
Yeah, I mean, he got that top 10 start due to the qualifying being rained out and his finish at Watkins Glen, but he stayed in the top 10 all day, which none of us expected.
He damn near won the race.
Let's not go that far. I mean, he led some laps, but he stayed out when everybody else pitted, and he held the lead for a little bit towards the end. But he wasn't going to win. But just the fact that he was up there.
Magic cheeseburger in his car door.
He did, yes. During the halftime, when they did the ceremony for the troops and all that, he was given a Baconator, which I don't know how. So I saw another clip of somebody gave Bubba a Coke, and they contracted this ridiculous straw so he could drink through his helmet. How the fuck did Shane eat a cheeseburger with his helmet? I am very confused as to how that happened. But I thought that was very cool. But I mean, the racing was great, and again, we got to the very end, and I forget exactly the sequence as to how the end came about, but there was a pit stop, and Daniel Suarez, I mean, he was in the top 10, top 15 all day.
Well, before this, there was an interesting call from NASCAR we got to talk about.
Oh, we got to talk about the lightning thing.
There was a lightning hold, and just to give you folks some context from my personal situation, I'd been drinking all day, so I saw that lightning hold happen, and I was like, fuck. I'm going to be down here all goddamn night. And I was like, well, I got to take a piss. I got to, put some cheese in a tortilla, microwave it or something. I got to fix myself up. I go upstairs, and I come back down, and they're rolling again. And I was like, wait a second. Did I just imagine a lightning hold?
It's time travel.
Yeah, apparently there's some new rule that none of us knew going into this weekend, to where, I guess apparently the storm and the lightning was, on the radar moving away from the track. So they just okay, we'll wave the lightning hold.
Yeah,
sure.
They have some
cool,
new official meteorologists that they consulted.
Yeah,
it took them fucking 40 years. But anyway.
Weird, but fine. But yeah, I mean, I forget the exact sequence, but there's a pit stop towards the end, and Daniel Suarez was one of the only guys to take 2 tires instead of 4, which put him in the lead. And they restarted and they raced for a bit, and then there was another caution for Catherine Legg, who not only had a flat tire, but that flat tire fell off the car. And
that was way earlier in the race.
No, I thought that was the very end.
Stage 3.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the last 2 cautions were for rain in turn 2.
Okay, good. That's what Denny talked about in his podcast. Was
he doesn't
Catherine
know what
Legg,
he's talking about.
Okay, well,
and
then,
you can,
fuck him.
in both occurrences, both in the O'Reilly race and this one, you could see the moisture on the race. I mean, it was raining pretty hard. When they called
that
it.
last one. Yeah.
The Busch race, it wasn't, but you could see the moisture on the racetrack on television. So you kind of knew what was up here.
Yeah. Nobody expected Daniel Suarez to win, but to go through this whole weekend, and again, we got almost all the race in, and we were leading up to this amazing finish, and then the weather finally comes in, and again, it's no disparity towards Daniel. It just was a little disappointing for things to end that way. I'm glad he won, in the sense that, again, he's another one of those guys that Kyle was a huge influence in the beginning of his Cup career.
And not to mention that car runs out of the old KBM shop. So
yes,
that was
well.
Cool.
So he was incredibly emotional once it was called. So yeah, it was all good to see. And again, also just a nice little subtle fuck you to Trackhouse as well, without saying it.
It's the second win of the year for Spire right there.
And again, don't forget that Ross won this race last year, and none of the Trackhouse cars were anywhere to be found. I had Carson's radio on for a majority of the race, and they had that one bad pit stop, and that put them laps down, and then I had it on. Carson was pissed the whole fucking time and just mad at his crew, and they didn't take the wave around at one point. He was just stuck laps down and stuck in the back, and but yeah, good for Daniel. That was the first win for the 7 car in 30 years. Jeff Bodine was the last car.
Damn.
The 7 that won a race.
They ought to get Tanya Tucker's salsa back on that thing. Start making some horsepower.
And so now there are 2 Trackhouse cars in the top 10.
None of them Michael McDowell.
Yeah.
Inspire.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. That was the end of the again very frustrating, sad weekend.
Yeah.
So many. We'll get to it in septic tank, but I mean, a bunch of dirt races got rained out.
Oh yeah, a lot of rain.
Just it was a bummer of a weekend, but again, it was nice to see some racing, and at least, for as fucked up as the weather was, at least the racing was good when we got it.
Yeah, the racing across all 3 of the NASCAR series was as good as we've seen all year. Particularly the Cup series was fucking awesome. And the Xfinity series was, I still can't call it O'Reilly. Whatever it is, the one that Corey Day runs in most. It was incredible. But yeah, I can't think of a weekend where there was such great on-track action with such bullshit, unfortunate finishes. But hey, take what we can get. Yeah. And I guess it was a little bit of a mercy killing for all of us, because I don't know if I had another 4 hours waiting for jet dryers in me on that Sunday.
I had to be up at 5 a.m. for the flea market, so yeah, I was out very, very quickly after the race was over.
I was pulling for Hamlin. He still scored the most points, but I would also been happy seeing Bell win just for the fact that Adam Stevens is his crew chief and his history there. But I was happy to see Suarez win, his history with Kyle and how emotional he got as well. That was touching. Also, congrats to friend of the program, Buddy Pulley, and his mom. They were both there, and they're both huge Suarez fans. And I believe this is the first time they've got to see him win in person. So
good for
I know
that's
cool.
That was special. So
yeah.
Also, one other thing, the Prime post race went until 12:45 in the morning. So shout out to them for staying up.
I thankfully I had that on in bed while I was falling asleep, and thankfully I did not have any Corey nightmares. So
I switched over to Knoxville at that point, I think, or Huset's. I can't remember what. It must have been Huset's. I don't know. It got rained out no matter what.
Yeah.
But
Carl Edwards did tell us why he's not going to be in the booth the rest of the year. He said that especially after this weekend, he is recommitting himself to his family. They are his number one priority. And also, they've had a sailing trip around the world or some shit planned for a very, very long time. So he's going sailing.
Okay,
so he's leaving us.
Yeah.
He mentioned that on Dale Jr.'s show when he went on there.
Did he? Yeah. Well, he's leaving us with LaJoy, who is weird as hell, and Danielle Trotta, who somehow annoyed me more than Corey this weekend. So. Great.
Was there anything in particular or just in general?
It was just her whole demeanor. Like, she was very robotic, very emotionless, and everything she said came across like she was trying to be like a Fox News reporter or something. It was just too buttoned up for me.
For Prime. Yeah.
It's icky. It's all icky.
Well, shout out for a fucking 6-hour post-race show. I'm here for that.
Yeah. All right, well, that moves us on to the Fantasy League roundup, which was frustrating somewhat for all of us. But
was it? I haven't even looked. Let's see.
Sure was. Was for me. Again. So this week, Fantasy League, our big winner was Little Michael.
Oh, nice.
Second place, I don't think I've gotten to say this name on here yet, but second place goes to Your Mom's a Hocevar.
Smoltz. That is one from my Discord. So, yeah.
Third place was Bailey Weinkoff. Then Brian came in 10th, Rob 11th, and I was way back in 18th because I think Briscoe wrecking fucked me up, and I put Austin Dillon in my lineup 2 seconds before it locked out of pure emotion, which I regretted immediately.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Chase Elliott this weekend for coming in dead fucking last in fantasy. That
Also
was
fucked
nice.
up. He stayed in my garage, so.
Yeah, you say. And then also Chris Buescher, thanks for nothing, pal.
Yep.
Don't forget to talk about Ryan Preece absolutely destroying his shit again. Whatever.
A lot of wrecks. But yeah, it shakes up the overall standings some. Little Michael, with his win this week, goes to first, so he's up 2 positions. Chris Davis is up 2 positions, back in the top 3, coming in second. Brian drops a spot to third. Bailey Weinkoff 4th, and then our previous leader, Flavortown McLeod, has dropped to 5th. So rough week for him.
Yeah.
That puts Rob up a position 1 to 9th, and I'm still in 11th. Rob, didn't you have some hacker problems this week?
Yeah. So I got a little warning from NASCAR.com saying that somebody from the UK was trying to hack into my account, and I needed to change my password. And
Stephen
I only
Kent.
know one person in the UK that knows about NASCAR, and I don't know. Not saying anything. Just not going to sue him or anything like that, or go to the tower and complain. But I got my eye on you, pal. I can see you trying to sabotage my comeback. Which, by the way, back in the top 10 where I belong. I think this is just about where I plateau for the year, between 9th, 8th. Yeah, I think this is where I'm going to end up. But it's been a glorious run back to the top 10, and I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me. So I got new protection on my browsers now. I've got all sorts of VPNs and shit. Impenetrable over here. Steven did not hack into my account, but I will ask that he'll go try and track down whoever did, because there's not many people in the UK, right?
As far as general notes and stuff, I mean, obviously the news coverage is all about Kyle Busch this weekend. But before that news broke, so the only real stuff that I got was through the Dirty Mo podcast stuff that was happening at their facilities. Jordan Bianchi was on the live episode of Door Bumper Clear, and they talked about how apparently there is a Toyota team that is not. Well, they just said he said a Toyota team and a Ford team that was interested in him. And, you know, looking at the options out there, you know, I guess theoretically it could be either JGR or Legacy or I guess potentially Penske, but I don't see either one of those places. I mean, JGR maybe, but
yeah, if Denny decides he's done, I could see Buescher being a good pick there if they're not ready to put one of their younger guys in there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go from Penske or wouldn't go from RFK to Penske, at least not right now.
No, I would.
Or Wood Brothers, I guess.
Yeah, Wood Brothers is what I would
yeah.
imagine, because it seems like Josh Berry's a little bit on the hot seat right now.
Yeah.
And Buescher would be an excellent addition to that team. But yeah, if I'm sitting there in that 17 car, I don't think I'm vacating anytime soon.
Yeah. But also potentially factoring into the RFK stuff, he did mention that there is a charter that is going to be for sale, and that was heavily insinuated that it's going to be Haas, which makes sense because Cole Custer actually, oddly enough, you know, had a fairly decent day. He was in the top 20 all day. I forget where he finished, but I think he had halfway decent finish for him. But
well, you got fucking Sam Mayer wrecking all those Busch cars out there. You gotta have to pay for it somehow.
Yeah. So that would make sense. And RFK has already stated that, you know, it's only about a $5 million difference to not have a charter, which, you know, for us, that sounds like a lot. I guess in the NASCAR world, it's not that much. I don't know what they were paying to lease the Rick Ware charter, but...
Well, I mean, when a charter to purchase is $100 million...
yeah.
5 million is a pretty easy number to swallow, I guess.
Yeah, but regardless, you know, they're going to have Preece in that car next year, so whether they have a charter or not, you know, maybe they will, who knows. But yeah, that's really the only notes that we have outside of, you know, the Kyle news. So
yeah, I didn't keep up with any news this week. I was too.
Yeah, that was, there was nothing else, Kyle Busch was the news. So.
Yeah.
I do want to say that as we're recording right now, I just opened my text messages and I got a text from a family friend who I haven't talked to in maybe like a month. And she sent me a screenshot of the news of Kyle Busch passing, and it's in all caps, just says, "What?"
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I mean, that's nice, but you're a little late on that one.
a little behind.
Well, speaking of all caps, our Darth of the week definitely does not know where the lowercase button is on their keyboard. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what this was in reference to or what the original post was. But it is in relation to Kyle, I would assume. And it also tagged Kenny Wallace, Racing Jason, former... has he been a Darth of the week? Yeah, he has.
know.
Surely he
Yeah,
has.
probably.
And then Cody Summer, of course, dirt late model guy, Cody Summer. And I'm assuming this is in reference to Kyle, but somebody had posted something about the effects of Wi-Fi and microwaves on people's brains, and he tweets, NASCAR better wake up to the drivers being microwaved in those cars via thermal radiation shooting through their brains, that Wi-Fi wireless headset. So 5G and Wi-Fi are military weapon frequencies, guided missiles, satellite, control, bombs. To which, again, Racing Jason, who we've talked about him on the show plenty of times, when he decides to question your intelligence, boy, that really says something. He just says, yeah, the radios aren't Bluetooth. They operate on, radio waves. So, Billy Peden, he's taking a week off from the internet altogether. Go outside and literally step on grass. And maybe the funniest thing is he's tweeting all of this from a cell phone, I would assume. Yep. So maybe he's still got a 3G plan or something out there. But Godspeed, sir. But I think that's when we're talking about Racing Jason, we're already in the fucking septic tank. There's no question about that. Again, a lot of racing this weekend all over the country, and a lot of racing that got rained out. So we're going to talk about the stuff that did happen. World of Outlaws were at Jacksonville, and Carson Macedo picked up a win there. Aaron Reitzel coming in and cherry picking himself $20,000 out at Knoxville. And then Buddy Kofoid picking up a nice little win on Monday night at Huset's. That was supposed to be on Sunday, but of course the rain had other plans. Not as much rain as Huset's had that one year where they literally had an actual flood and they had to drag RVs out of there from 6 feet of water. But still, rainy nonetheless. But Buddy Kofoid picking up a nice win there and a little paycheck. And speaking of paychecks at Huset's, World of Outlaws have issued a bounty for any non-World of Outlaw competitor or regular that's going to come out to the High Bank Nationals. If someone who's not an Outlaw member can win, they get an extra $100,000 on top of the $300,000 to win purse already in place. So almost $500,000 for winning that race. That's a big fucking deal right there, folks. So
Yeah.
whole lot of guys rethinking their plans of staying on the porch out in Pennsylvania. There's no question about that. And I'm pretty sure High Limit has the weekend off to allow for this as well. So that's going to be a big time event. I mean, it's always, the High Bank Nationals are always a huge one at Huset's, and this just ramps it up even more. Lucas Oil Late Models are in Wheatland for the Show Me 100. Rain also put a damper on that show, but we did get all the prelim nights and the actual 100 in, just at kind of different times. Garrett Alberson put on an absolute air show on Thursday night. Meanwhile, my favorite, Josh Rice, picked up a big win. That was exciting to see. His first win in his new car this year, so good for him. Jonathan Davenport reminding everybody why he's Superman and wins on Friday night. And then as much as I hate to say it, I got to give Bobby Pierce all the respect in the world, coming from 20th to win the Show Me 100. What a fucking show that was. Yeah, he's too good. I can go back to booing him next week, though. But yeah, Bobby Pierce putting on a hell of a show, and that's why he sells the T-shirts he does, because he's the fucking man. Friend of the program, Ricky LeDuc, picked up another win in that modified. Yeah, so that's 2 for 3 in his modified career. So fucker better get down to IKEA or Menards and pick himself up a trophy case for all these modified trophies he's bringing home. Little 500 was at Anderson. Cody Swanson picking up a win there. I think that's his 4th career was going to say Little 500 win. I was going to say Haunted 100. I was going to say Haunted 100 because of the outdoor piss trough they have there. This is the greatest. This is the greatest thing you could ever do at a racetrack.
I can't believe this hasn't been sent to us sooner. Like, no one's revealed this.
I know. I'm really
to us
disappointed. Y'all must not be listening.
We are the premier piss trough podcast.
And my God, this one is the Cadillac of them all. Everyone talks about Indianapolis having the nicest piss troughs in the United States. They're Penske perfect, pristine, clean. Although I did see some videos of a couple of them flooding. So better get the janitor over there. But this place has 3 walls worth of outdoor piss troughs.
There's just so much grassy space in the middle, dude.
Which, guess what that's for?
That's the perfect setup for guys. I mean, you don't have to clean anything. That's every dirt track should have that.
Yeah, just out
every
under,
racetrack should have
just
that.
out under the Indiana sky with all your boys, just fixing yourself up. That was the Anderson rules. If I ever get out to Indianapolis, the Little 500 is definitely also on the menu for me because that's a legendary event. And shout out to Cody for getting number 4 out at that place. A little closer to home for me, the Granite State Pro Stock Series returned to Claremont for the first time in 300 years or however long it's been. That was a cool race. Cole Rowdy picked up a win there. That's a really talented 17-year-old, very mature beyond his years. DJ Shaw coming in second. Just a little emotional moment for me. The Granite State Pro Stocks were the first series I ever saw a race at Thompson, or one of them, on that Sunday afternoon about 15 years ago. And it was pretty surreal to be up there covering the action and actually presenting a broadcast to the world for these guys, because it's a real deal professional series. Car count was a little light. I think a lot of guys are saving their shit for the American Canadian Tour show that got scheduled over the original date for this particular race. But still, despite a slim car count, it was still a great show. And again, big shout out to Cole Rowdy. That kid's got one hell of a future. Also on the late model side of things, ASA Stars Tour was at Hickory. Caden Quapple picking up a win there. Did you guys watch that? Anybody watch that?
No.
I did not watch that. Chase Elliott dropped out because that's right when the Kyle Busch news broke. So a lot of drivers canceled all of their appearances for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of canceling, Tyler Carpenter has decided he's not going to be racing at Ohio Valley for the foreseeable future and taking his business over to Elkins Speedway instead, because Ohio Valley has banned him from selling T-shirts because he's now selling a T-shirt that says "Kiss my dick" on it. Apparently he stole that famous Jack Hewitt line and used it.
Which apparently the Jack Hewitt family is not into that.
No,
either, from what
they don't like that at all. But Tyler Carpenter's happy to pick up the mantle and spread that on T-shirts. This T-shirt is actually pretty fucking awesome. I kind of want to pick one up, but you will not be able to buy that at Ohio Valley. You'll have to go to Elkins or wherever else Tyler Carpenter merchandise is sold.
Just the floating head next to "Kiss my dick."
It really is a perfect
with a
T-shirt.
random skull.
And one last little shout out to Andy, True Love's boyfriend. Of course, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when y'all went down to Bubba Pollard's place, Sonoy,
whatever it is.
Anyway, that film dropped, and it is 2.5 minutes of the most beautiful dirt late model footage I've ever seen in my life. My only complaint about it is that it's not 2 hours longer.
Yeah.
I could have used. You can inject that shit directly into my body, and we'll post a link to it. Maybe I don't know if we're allowed to post a clip of it or something like that. We'll do that.
Yeah, I'll probably in the stories, in our IG stories, post a link.
But yeah,
so
you don't
can actually click on it.
You don't see something like this very often. A lot of dirt late model footage is kind of clinical, and that's not what this is. So I would highly recommend checking this out. It's called Doom Buggy on YouTube, and do yourself a favor and check that out. And like I said, we'll post a link to it.
Go to his YouTube channel. It's just at Andy Sapp, SAPP. So
yep.
I'll post a link. But yeah, he really wants to do some more of this. He would be at every one of Doom Buggy's races shooting it if he could, but you know, his tour schedule just ramped up for the rest of the year. So.
His cool-ass day job takes precedence.
Over the other fun shit he wants to do. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, hopefully a lot more in the future.
But seriously, support him. Check that out. It's very moving, and it was a great job. So hopefully there is more of that in the future because, yeah, it's fucking beautiful. Fuck ton of short track racing this weekend. Again, we're just in it now. We're in the septic tank through October, and it gets deeper and deeper every week. World of Outlaw Late Model is going to be at Marion Center, Wayne County, and then Mansfield this weekend for the Blaster 57 Special. Our own Brian is going to be on the grounds at Wayne County and Mansfield. Is that true?
Yes, I will be there Thursday and Saturday. So if anybody's going, which I doubt it, feel free to send me a DM. I'll have some beers.
Yeah, we can talk. Tell us all about the troughs and how you pissed with your friends at the new Mansfield.
I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, I've never been to Mansfield. I think Wayne County has piss troughs. Yeah, obviously, I'll have a report. But
Yeah,
You'll just have to go take a bunch of pictures for us.
Exactly.
take a picture, bunch of pictures in the bathroom.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that's totally acceptable in the men's room at a racetrack, it's taking pictures. World of Outlaws are going to be at River Cities and Nodak over the weekend. That'll be fun to watch. USAC's at Knoxville for the Corn Belt Clash. That's going to be a hell of an event, watching the non-wing guys rip around that fucking place.
I like that name.
Corn Belt Clash. Not that corn, the other corn. Smart Tour is going to be at Franklin County. That's on Flow Racing, as is the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour from Riverhead, without Kyle Bonsignor because he's decided to take a few races off because the consistency of the new American Racer tires is just too much, and you never know what you're strapping on, he says. So it's not worth them to risk it, which is... that's quite the indictment right there, but we'll see if others follow suit or have similar opinions. This is the first person I've heard come out that strongly and just say, yeah, we're not doing this shit because these tires, they do tend to last forever or just blow up immediately. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But his cousin, Justin Bonsignor, should be in the field. He has returned. In fact, they raced at Seekonk, so all that about them not racing looks like they've managed to find funding or get things together. But anyway, tune in to Riverhead to find out if I'm right. Cars Tour is going to be at Langley. Of course, for all your Cars Tour coverage, be sure to check out Buddy Pulley and his On Tour channel. Of course, he's going to be on the ground there telling us all about it. The Pass and Act Tour is going to be up at Riverside in New Hampshire. Not that Riverside at the amusement park that's been gone for 20 years. It's a different one. But this place looks pretty cool. ISMA's going to be at Oswego, which that's always fun. Hopefully we don't see anybody going to the Styrofoam there. And, of course, the 350 Smack Tour, which is another super modified tour up here, is going to be at Claremont this weekend. You can catch all the action courtesy of me and my good friend Orion on pitrow.tv. And that is the Septic Tank. And we'll go ahead and flush this down, and we're going to listen to Kyle Petty sing a little bit.
It's good.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, so we had 3 videos of the week this week, but they were all totaling less than a half hour, so pretty breezy watch this week. And we'll start off with the 1988 Winston Racing Series promo, which this was, I mean, it was interesting. You know, I love the old ephemera type stuff like this, and you know, this was again a promo video selling sponsors on the idea of sponsoring the Winston Racing Series, which you know, it still exists to this day, just in different forms. But you know, overall, this video I thought was pretty fun, neat little 11-minute watch here. You know, I talk about, you know, there's 80 tracks all over the country for the Winston Racing Series, and they talk about it's a exciting opportunity to market your product. You talk about how the fans are sponsor conscious, and NASCAR fans spend money, big money, which is true. At least back then was true, because you know, this was, you know, you think about the time period this was filmed. I mean, this was right when NASCAR was starting to gain more popularity throughout the entire country, starting to gain more mainstream popularity, and you know, this was also the time when more and more mainstream consumer goods were sponsoring cars and teams, and this trickled down to, you know, again, these weekly series, not just the Busch series, but Winston Racing, which had 8 different territories throughout the country. We have Darrell Waltrip kind of not necessarily narrating this video, but he was a big part of this video, helping sell the sponsorships. He talks about how, the Winston Racing Series was one of the places where he got his start before he actually got into the Cup Series. Talks about how important grassroots racing is to the main series, and because, again, guys got to come from somewhere. You don't just get in a car, right off the bat. And they show the...
Cletus.
They show a map of the 8 different territories, and from that, I think the main thing I found interesting was the Great Northern region spanned all the way from Pennsylvania to Washington. That was crazy. That is an insane
that made no sense to me.
Yeah. They're showing pictures from the different banquets, and they're selling how that's important for sponsors. Bill France Jr. is there. And he talks about how everybody's got to start somewhere. There's a guy named Jim. Go ahead.
I was going to say, also this entire time, Darrell Waltrip is selling these sponsors while standing in front of his horses for some reason with his basset hound.
I didn't even notice that. That's funny. A guy named Jim Foster is there, which I think he was the marketing director, I want to say. He talks about how, sponsoring cars gets you seen at the track and in media outlets. You can put your logos on the trucks and get them seen on the highways. There's billboards at the tracks and ads and programs and all these different opportunities for sponsors. They talk about Gatorade was a big sponsor for the Winston Racing Series at the time. The guy from General Mills who owned Gatorade at the time talked about how NASCAR's audience was growing. There was a Budweiser distributor that talked about their success sponsoring the series. There was a very funny graphic where Darrell Waltrip broke down the demographics, which I thought was interesting, and how sponsors and teams and fans all take care of each other. For whatever reason, the video ended on a close-up of Darrell Waltrip's smiling face in Victory Lane. I thought that was an interesting choice.
I did too. It felt almost like a memorial at the end.
My favorite stat, I just want to put this out here, 72% of NASCAR fans are between the ages of 26 and 55, which is a hell of a range.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunately that same fan base from 40 years ago is still a big part of who's around now. And an interesting note in the credits, this was produced by Brian France, of all people.
I did notice that.
Little high school video project.
Yeah. But yeah, again, a fun little ephemera time capsule piece. I love stumbling across stuff like this just because it's shit that, fans aren't necessarily supposed to see.
Yeah.
And, again, just a window back into what racing was back then. So I enjoyed this.
Yeah. Like you said, it felt like something that we were never supposed to see. But I also got excited because there was a random photo of Lanier Raceway in there.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
And you kind of touched on this, but like you said at the end, Darrell said, we are a family and we support each other and we take care of each other, which felt fitting to hear.
Yes.
I mean, hell, I think back to when I was a child and I would coerce my stepdad to buy Haviland oil because they sponsored the 28 car.
Yep.
And I sit here now with a zone in my mouth because of Kyle Busch. So yeah, I mean, I've personally always, when I can and when it makes sense, like if I have a choice of a product and they sponsor somebody in racing, I'm going to buy that because, they sponsor somebody I like or they sponsor the sport that I like. So it's all true. Just now, unfortunately, NASCAR's at this point where it's so expensive and a lot of the consumer brands that were really so big in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s have all gone. And now we have, defense contractors and tech companies and all this other bullshit that, nobody really engages with sponsoring cars. And, NASCAR's kind of lost its identity in a lot of senses, but that's a whole nother
You're not a buildsubmarines.com guy?
The next video was a nice little 4-minute clip from Nashville Now from 1984, featuring Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, Tim Richmond, and Dale Earnhardt racing Tin Lizzies around the parking lot of the studios. This clip, so, I mean...
That's pretty much it.
The highlight of this video to me is Tim Richmond's outfit. Like, they all were kind of, you know, just wearing their standard outside the track, you know, button-up shirt and pants combo. But Tim Richmond was wearing all white with a pink blazer. Yeah. And
beautiful.
Just looked amazing.
Stepped off of a fucking speedboat or something. It looks great.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a little banter with, you know, Ralph Stanley introducing the segment, and everybody...
That's Ralph Emery, sorry.
Ralph Emery, excuse me. I get those names confused, but yeah, Ralph Emery.
I wish it was Ralph Stanley. That'd be fucking amazing.
And we see Darrell Waltrip and Richard Petty in car 1, while Tim and Dale are in car 2. They give him these goofy, like, Roman helmets to wear for some reason, and Dale puts these on backwards because he's afraid to watch or whatever. You know, the tape gets a little choppy as the race starts, but...
a little choppy. You can't see it.
A little choppy. So basically, Tim and Richard are driving while Darrell and Dale have to start the cars because they're these old, you know, crank-style cars or whatever. Yeah. And, you know, the race starts...
Lawnmower.
Yeah. The race starts, and again, the video's choppy, but we see DW, like, the two cars are, like, next to each other, like, inches from each other, and DW is riding on the back, like, with one foot on each car, which is pretty funny. And they only race, like, about 150 feet in a little loop.
Quick little run around the parking lot.
And, yeah, like Dale is, like, running around the cars, and he's pushing the cars, and DW is running around, and Tim barely beats Richard for the victory. DW accuses Dale of trying to turn their motor off, and Dale is very proud of Tim for winning the race. So, a very fun, goofy little clip. You know, I don't really know what else to say about it, but I just thought it was funny.
Definitely cool to see Dale kind of, not that he ever had media training, really, I don't think. Maybe he did later on, but he's still a little camera shy at this point. Yeah. He's not quite the Dale Earnhardt that has become a folk hero. And also, Tim Richmond, this early in his NASCAR career, like he is the current Indy 500 Rookie of the Year at this point, which is right at the beginning of his Cup career. So kind of interesting to see him and Dale pal around this early and actually see him get this opportunity, you know, being on television with these fucking champions.
Especially with those opposite outfits.
Yeah.
Tim had a line that made me laugh. He said, track looks dry. He said, and I'm dry too. Yeah. Yeah, I wish there was maybe better quality of this video that exists. And also at the end, Ralph sends it inside the studio to Ed Bruce singing, which we don't get to see.
Yeah, that would have been the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah, and then apparently the drivers were going inside after that to do an interview as well, which we don't get to see. So if anyone has that footage, please send it to us.
Yes.
Yeah. And the final clip of the week is, again, from Nashville Now. So this starts off before Kyle starts the song. We see Richard on the couch, Ralph Emery with Richard Petty and Lee Greenwood sitting on the couch. And
who else but Lee Greenwood?
Ralph is just asking about, like, the finances, like the financial difference between his career and his dad Lee Petty's career, and how there's a massive disparity between the two of them. That was a little weird, but it gets
Nashville
more
Now
weird.
Is always a little weird.
Yeah, it gets weirder as this goes on. But then they go over to the stage, and Kyle's out there, and he sings this song, and he's wearing, like, a weird peach sweater, and the song is called Nothing a Little Love Won't Cure. I don't really know what to say about this song other than, like, the little bit I've heard, because I've listened to a tiny bit of Kyle's music prior to this video, and, like, he just doesn't have a good voice. Like, he stays on key and all that, but, like, there's no power behind his voice.
Yeah.
It's like almost like he's kind of talk singing in a way.
Yeah.
And it's this very generic song about, two distraught people coming together and mending their heartbreaks with each other, more or less. And I don't know where he got the inspiration for that.
I don't think he
sing the
wrote
song.
it, but
Yeah, well, that'd be a surprise. If anything, I was surprised to see him playing guitar. I didn't know he knew how to do that. But,
he still plays. He still plays shows to this day.
Yeah, no, I know he still does music
Plays
stuff here and
guitar,
there, but I
yeah.
mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way to see it. That's for sure.
Yeah, to me, something about this performance gave like a bad Jimmy Buffett impersonator with a forced fake country twang. That was just the vibe that it gave me.
It's very of the era, that sort of Dan Seals kind of thing going on, which not my favorite era of country music. Sorry, Kyle. And again, the peach sweater,
The peach,
which looked like
very
it was.
distracting.
And by the way, the Nashville Now band is very good, and they do a fine job here. But yeah, that peach sweater just really, that was the choice we made for a country music show. But it was 84 or 85, whatever the fuck it was. And here we are. He's not wearing peach sweaters anymore, so that's good.
After the performance, he goes over to the couch and he talks about how he's going to be opening for Randy Travis the next week, and he's been working on recording some stuff and working with producers. And then he mentions he overheard the conversation about money, and he talked about maybe I should just stick to this racing thing, because he projected himself to earn like $15 to $20 million racing, which was probably true.
Probably accurate,
yeah.
In retrospect, yeah.
And then Ralph decides to ask him, "Are you in trouble with NASCAR?" And I don't know the story behind this, but apparently, a week or two prior at Martinsville, he almost ran over an official, I'm assuming in the pits, and he got fined for that. And he was just like, he didn't want to. He straight up said, "I don't really want to talk about this." And that was pretty much the end.
He
and then
did
they go
say
to
that, like,
commercial.
I think I'm a good enough driver to, if I really wanted to hit that guy, I would have.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. They pretty quickly cut to commercial, and that's the end of the clip. So, again, just a weird little time capsule of what Kyle Petty was up to and trying to do some music stuff 40 years ago, and while his NASCAR career was still kind of blossoming in a sense. So, I don't know. Again, fitting in with the whole Nashville theme of this week's video series. So,
because we're going there. We're going to Nashville, folks.
yeah.
Well, we're not really going. We're watching Nashville on television.
Yeah.
The NASCAR is going to Nashville.
But yeah, those were the videos of the week this week. I'll be completely honest, with the weekend and, obviously the Kyle Busch stuff, I was not really incredibly motivated to search for anything interesting. So we're going to go back to some lighter fare, and we're going to watch episode 2 of Michael Waltrip's reality series. That's a nice, easy watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's fair.
So, yeah, something fairly lighthearted and interesting enough. So that'll be the video of the week next week.
Cool.
Glad I didn't watch ahead already.
Yeah, I have, but I'm happy to watch it again. Mikey teaches us how to make stop motion videos in this one.
Hell yeah, perfect. So yeah, like I said, NASCAR's in Nashville this weekend. I will be at 2 dirt races, so we'll have plenty to talk about next week. Although, slight programming note, will be a day late next week because it is my favorite time of the year. It's Primus time. I'm going to be seeing Primus next Tuesday, so we'll be recording on Wednesday next week. So
What number is this for you?
Times I've seen them?
Yes.
It's close to 20 at this point.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought it would have been more for some reason.
Yeah, I was
Well, I
thinking
mean,
the same.
every time they go on tour, I'll see them anywhere from 2 to 4 times. This tour it's less is too other bands are opening, and I really don't like them, so I don't know if I'm going to go to more than just the Cleveland date. But the show is my favorite venue in town, only 10 minutes from my house, so I might be there Saturday as well in Columbus, but we'll see how Tuesday goes.
Nice.
But that's a Primus update for everybody wondering.
Thank God.
But yeah, as always, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Meet Me at Applebee's. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebee's at checkout for 15% off.
Oh, I don't have anything to promote. It's still Snake Mountain True Love. Again, I will post that link to the video that Andy Sapp did of Dune Buggy at Sonoy, but just want to say that I love all of you, and I'm so very thankful for my racing family. So.
Yep, same.
Likewise, yeah. Rob Motes _ unofficial on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains, and the new Charlie Marie record's coming out on June 5th. That's right, folks. You can go ahead and pre-order that motherfucker wherever that's being sold. I would assume Charlie Marie's website, which is either charliemarie.com or charliemarimusic.com, or try them all. Google it. I don't know. And also, we'll be playing a record release show on June 5th as well at the Lizard Lounge in Cambridge with our good buddy Dan Miller. That's going to be a great show. You definitely want to get your tickets for that, because it's going to sell out, and that's a small room, so you don't want to miss out on hearing this. We're playing the new record front to back. Going to be the first time a lot of these songs have ever seen the light of day, and I've said it before, but I'm super proud of this record, and I can't wait to share it with the world, because Chuck really knocked it out of the park on this one. I'll be at Claremont this weekend, as always. Very long show on Friday night, because Sunday got rained out last week. So, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't have to go to Claremont on Sunday, so as you could probably figure out, that's why I got as drunk as I did during the Coke 600. But, yeah. If you happen to be in New Hampshire, come check it out. I might be getting to some other racetracks around here this weekend. I think my wife is busy, but I don't know. DM me if you anywhere in Massachusetts or Connecticut or whatever, and we'll have a beer.
Nice.
Cool. Well, looks like the check is here, so thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to you all next week.